Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger, and this is my tips and tricks guide for Mileena in Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate. Now, as always, these videos, they're very long. We cover a lot of subjects and a lot of topics in these, so there'll be timestamps on everything, so feel free to skip ahead to whatever you think is most important for you. With that said, we're going to start at the start here, and we're just going to cover her basic moveset and a lot of her variation moves and move on from there. So now let's talk a lot of her core base moveset here, the stuff you have before any variation stuff is applied. And we have basically all of her classic moves. We have the Sai Blast, which you might see me refer to quite a bit as High Sai later in the video. And we have the Teledrop, classic teleport kick, and the Ball Roll. So let's talk about it. So Sai Blast is the classic Sai, and it is two separate hits, FYI. And the one lovely thing about this here, it being two separate hits, is that it has two separate hit boxes. So the second Sai, the one that's just a little bit higher, actually makes this move just a little bit harder to jump than the average fireball. Just because there's just an additional hitbox on top of the base fireball, so that's actually pretty cool. And this move is enhanceable, of course. Here, you can meter burn it. And the meter burn part shoots two additional Sais, and those Sais are lows, meaning you do indeed have to block those crouching, otherwise you will be hit. As far as basic fireballs go, it's a pretty good one. Travel time's really good, just general screen control's really good. The enhanced version is much better than most basic fireballs get, as far as just like general projectile stuff. Having the additional hits and just those hits being lows, just fantastic all around. The classic teleport kick works as you think it does. So she'll go through the ground and just kind of wind up on top of you and kick you in the head. This is a classic counter zoning move, meaning you wait for the enemy to throw a fireball. And Devora is not the best example, I guess, because her fireball's not amazing. But you see it, haha, gotcha, and there you go, punish. The move is also enhanceable, of course. You want to spend some meter here. You get more damage, and you also get to choose which side you land on. So whatever direction you hold while you're doing the enhanced version, you will now switch to that appropriate side. So say if you were to be closer to the corner for whatever reason, you can dump your enemy into the corner, or yourself just, get out of the corner, right? So whatever side just happens at the moment to be more advantageous to you, you get to choose that side. And you have the classic ball roll, the Mileena ball. And it works basically like you think it is. She goes low to the ground. It can low profile high moves, although it takes a second to start up, just so you know, but she can do it. And it's where your combo ability is. Now you do have to burn a bar to get a combo, unlike some other games in the series. But with that said, combo time is a go, right? The Mileena ball is going to be your main combo starter most of the time. So make sure to learn those combos, and of course we have a companion combo guide as well you can check out at the end of this video. Now onto the variation moves here, and of course with custom variations in Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate, you're allowed to mix and match with whatever you choose in competitive play, right? So that's fantastic. And we start here with the Stabbyscotch. So Stabbyscotch is a command grab, true command grab. Although it is a duckable command grab, like most command grabs in the game, to be fair. There's actually only a handful of examples of those that are not duckable, so just keep that in mind, I guess. And, hey, you're blocking, right? Definitely can't hit you. Hey, turns out I can still grab you with the command grab. And, of course, unlike regular grabs, command grabs cannot be teched out of. They cannot be stopped in any way, shape, or form if they connect. Now, some notes here on Stabbyscotch. One, if you do the regular version, you will always switch sides with the foe. So sometimes, especially say if you want to do it in the corner, maybe you don't want to switch sides because you're putting yourself closer to the corner, right? But if you do the enhanced version, then you will retain the side you kept originally on top of doing more damage. Now, just to note here, the enhanced version, it really scales bad in combos. So just to show just a very basic example here. So we're going to do a combo, go into command grab, and right before EX we're at 304, and it's like not even 2% more damage, right? So that's arguably not worth a bar. But if you need it for the kill, then great, fantastic, but just so you know, it's fine to use in combos, absolutely, but don't burn that bar in the combo unless it's going to be the kill, because you're just not getting your money's worth out of it. This move is also your armor breaker and has a crushing blow if it breaks armor or if it catches a wake up roll, because once again throws beat wake up rolls. And if you get it, well then you're going to do a fair chunk of damage, as you can see here. So if you know someone who's very roll happy, or just if you know they're going to break in the middle of your combo, this is a very fine thing to do. Next, we have the Sai Slide. Now, this is a very interesting move. Not really much comparable to this in Mortal Kombat 11. So, by itself, before we get into any of the particulars here, you do it, and Mileena will go backwards, which is important for block strings and all that we'll talk about later. She'll go backwards, and she'll just launch the Sai up. And if you enhance it, it'll come down. And you can just completely whiff, by the way. And the enhance, it just goes wherever the enemy is. It tracks. So if you're familiar with the hidden missiles concept, very similar to that. Now, Mileena can actually hold the button, and it will just travel a lot longer. So if you let go of it right away, it only goes a certain distance. But the longer you hold it, the further it will travel. And the EX is the same either way. But yeah, so you actually get a little bit of modular distance from it. One of the great things about this is it's safe on block. As you can see, you're -8 from this far away. Don't got to worry about too much. And the move is also a crushing blow, the EX version specifically, if the move connects against someone in a counter situation or in a punish situation. So if we set the bot here, and there you go. So on top of this, this puts them in a combo okay state. So right here, specifically, from this distance, guaranteed teleport kick. And if we're closer, you know, we can just get more options with like a jump in or just some buttons, right? So it's actually a fairly decent crushing blow as well. Playtime. Honestly, one of the more important variations, gives you more strings. First up here, your standard 1-1 string. It gives you a grab ender. And this is an auto tick grab ender, by the way. So if the enemy is blocking non-stop here, it will still connect on block. Now, it's a regular grab, meaning it's a high, so therefore it's stuckable. And we'll talk more about that later on in the video. But still, it gives her a nice little tool here. Just a grab when normally, you know, a lot of characters can't do stuff like that. We get a proper ender to the 4-2-3 string. So if you do your grab or 1+3 right afterwards here, she'll just kind of stab you up in the gut and we'll just get more damage. Otherwise, this is all you would ever get without this move. But with this equipped here, we get this ender. And it gives you a follow-up to forward 4-3, this guy right here. And also another hidden property, I guess you can say, which we'll talk about later in the video. But first, now we get this follow-up here where she'll cartwheel over you and kind of just stab you in the head and kick you, right? But you are also able to enhance this. And if you choose to do so, the big thing here is it leaves you with a significant advantage. And if this was in a combo setting, so something like this, just an example, not meant to be the most damaging combo, but to show here, we enhance it and they're still standing. So we now remove the ability for the opponent to wake up. So no rolls forward or backwards, no wake up 2, no wake up 3. They're just standing and we return to neutral and able to control our character much faster than they can. So that is a pretty important trait to the move. Now, next up, we have the air Sai. And, well, hey, kind of just as advertised. You are in the air and you shoot your Sais. Now, just like the regular high Sai, there's 2 separate projectiles, so they actually cover just a little bit more space than the average fireball. And also, if you were to enhance the move, you just fall right to the ground. Now, say you do a jump in the Sai, you'll get your hits. But if you were to enhance the move, you recover basically right away because you fall directly to the ground, so you can actually get a little bit of combo ability. Just as a little bit of an example there. And you get a lot fancier depending on your conversions and all that kind of stuff. Also, say you were to be blocked. Well, that's not very good, right? -13. But if you were to be enhancing it, it actually turns the move into a very advantageous plus on block situation. So it has some more value besides just combo ability. You will recover much faster than the enemy from the block. So that's pretty interesting. And once again, you know, it's space control, right? You're able to control parts of the screen you otherwise normally couldn't. So that's the general gist of Air Sai. We have the Rolling Thunder, borrowing from Rob Van Dam. So she goes into her ball roll and leaps up while in the air. And we get basically just a different style of ball roll. Now this one actually does more damage than the traditional roll. But you can also keep the traditional roll by just holding the button. So basically you have to choose whichever one's more valuable to you. Because here's the thing, in the middle of a combo, this version here, because it already launches the foe, you actually will get a less damaging combo if you just did like the regular version. Because When the opponent is launched, that means the gravity scaling has increased, so certain classic combos no longer work. Like if I were to do the uppercut combo, the enemy I can't forward one before they land. It's just not going to work. But if I were to hold the button, then I still get that ending, right? So basically for combos, you want to generally hold the button so you can get your more traditional combo routes. But then again, the rolling ball lets you do crazy things like this, like attack from this far away. It can also be very predictive anti-air, as basically no jumping hitbox interacts with that very well. Like, it just rips people out of the air, as you can see here. Like, Devora's jump punch is already out in the air, and just vacuums them in and just goes from there. So maybe not so much for combos, but if you're looking just to do like a meterless combo, like you don't have the meter for a full combo anyways, well then yes, you will do more damage than a normal ball roll. And it does have some utility of just having a very odd attack angle. Now just so you know, just like regular ball, don't get blocked. It is not safe on block, but otherwise it's fairly interesting. We have the low Sai Blast, and also as advertised, it's the Sai that hits low. So one of the things about this here, besides the fact that it hits low, is Mileena herself, she does the splits, very acrobatic, and she herself is lower to the ground, meaning all sorts of highs will go over her head just like if you were ducking. And with that in mind, she actually has a crushing blow that does exactly that. So if she goes underneath a high projectile while doing this and doing her EX version, that will trigger the crushing blow. So for counter zoning wars, it can help a fair bit, but keep in mind two things. One, it's only projectile highs, so regular highs, all that kind of stuff, not so much. And if you're up against someone who has a mid projectile, well, then you're just going to get hit in the face anyway, so that's not very fun. So it has a little bit of defensive property built into it, but keep in mind this fact here. This version of the Sai, while it is low and it's very interesting, it is a fair deal slower than the basic Sai attack, and obviously only has one projectile, right? So it doesn't eat up as much real estate on the screen. And we'll have a little bit of section later on talking about the Sais and which one you should go for. Now let's talk the Kahnum Dash, this guy right here. Now to be fully frank with you, I do not think this move is worth your time and worth picking in its current state. So the move, it takes 24 frames point blank to connect. Yes, it is a low, and it has a fair bit of distance. But the thing is here, the distance you're at, like, oh, I'm going to react to, say, you know, your fireball or something, go underneath it and hit you, and maybe I'll burn a little bit of bar while I'm at it here, get a little extra damage. This is all stuff you can do with the exact same teleport kick, right? So if you visually see something coming, go, haha, gotcha. That's really all there is to it. And of course, being the animation it is, it also won't deal with lows or something. You can get hit by things lower to the ground, and yeah. So I just don't know. It's very slow to start up with here, and it just doesn't punish anything. You can hold it, so that is an option you have, right, to run with it. And you can also cancel the run, so like, oh, maybe there's some gimmicks there, but it replaces the ball roll. So that means you're not getting any combos, basically. Like your main combo starter, you lose it for this move. And just FYI, you can double EX it for more damage. It looks very cool, but for 2 bars, you only get 15%, and I don't know, just not worth it to me. The air teleport kick. Hey, as advertised, lets you do the teleport kick in the air. It's the same damage, same options as the base teleport kick, just it's air okay. You can get like some combo conversions from it like that. If, you know, the right spacing, right move, all that kind of stuff is done. But otherwise, hey, once again, just as advertised, lets you do the move in the air. And our final variation move is the Vanish. And, well, hey, you're not fully invisible in that you have this little bit of a cloud around you. But for the most part, you know, overhead or low, you're not really going to see it. It's very difficult to maintain what's going on. And, of course, throws and add all that kind of stuff to mix. 2 things to note. 1, to do this move, it takes 1 defensive bar. So just be prepared for that. And if you don't have defensive bar, you cannot do the move. And also, while you're doing it, your damage is lessened just a little bit. So say normal uppercut does 140. While we're in the Vanish, does 112. So I guess the idea is to balance it out. Since I can't see you and I just have no idea what's coming, everything will do just a little bit less. Also, on just a note about the command, it's up, down, and 2. So obviously, if you hit up, down 2, well, you're going to jump, right? So you just got to hold block here first, and then you can do it. Very similar to like how Reptile did it back in Mortal Kombat 2. Now, let's talk some of her more notable normals. Of course, normals are very key in any fighting game. This is where your bread is buttered. You're going to be fighting through these guys most of the time, so let's talk about them. And first up, let's talk forward 1. This guy right here. So this is a 9-frame advancing high, not a mid. And considering one of the core things we'll probably cover a lot in this video is one of the things Mileena suffers with is range problems. This is fantastic. 9 frames is as fast as like a non-poke move can get for the most part, and the range is roughly from this far away, so it's actually fantastic. The only problem is, once again, it's a high, so therefore, hey, you get ducked, and then maybe you're getting that uppercut bait on, right? So you gotta watch out for that, but still, all things considered, it's a workhorse of a move, and if you need something quick and need to get that ground very fast, this is what you got. Now, just a quick programming note, I guess you could say. Forward 1, 2, the string, that is safe. -4, you're right in front of him, so you can't do too much, but you're safe. But if you complete the whole string, well, don't complete the whole string. It's -13 in their face, and you are gonna get beat up for it, so don't do it. Now, to talk about the other ranged options, because she does not have many, back 2. Back 2 is a leaping overhead, and 25 frame startup, so it's on the slower side for sure. Most people are going to be able to react and block this, but the idea here is not so much it's about it being blockable, it's the fact that it's got some decent range, because once again, decent range is a problem, and you can't duck it, obviously, like the forward 1, right? And the other thing here is it is very safe on block. So it is only -6, so nothing is touching it. So if you get blocked, many other overheads in this game, if you go for it, hey, you're going to get beat up if they block it. This one, not so much. And also with the leap, she actually can go over some lows as well. So there's a little bit of a defensive property to that. And finally, as far as the range game goes here, she has D3. And this is like the longest range D3 in the game, basically. Nightwolf and Noob Saibot eat your heart out. It's crazy. Now, on the flip, it's a little bit slower than the average D3. And it's a little bit more negative on block. But once again, with the range, hey, there you go. So this is actually one of her go-to pokes, effectively. Now, it's a D3, so it only does 1% on hit. But as always with many things, it does force standing, right? So if you're a little bit closer, then that can be very applicable. And it's just to frustrate people as, a lot of people, this range, especially with the low, can't contest against that. She can actually just kind of go for it. And from there, you're going to do it and cancel the other stuff to frustrate people. And just go for it. It's just a really good poke. And considering Mileena otherwise is lacking in the range category, you can consider this a little bit of a workhorse move. You have 2-3-3, this guy right here. Now, one thing that's really good about it is you just have forever and a day to hit confirm your combo. So normally, hit confirming can be difficult move to move, right? But for this, you have this long to ascertain if you got the hit or not, right? So, I got the hit, easy combo. And if it were to be blocked, well, hey, I don't got to worry. And of course, it is safe on block as well. And the other thing here is this. So it actually has an ender, and you go 2-3-3 and then hit 4. And this ender is plus on block. Now, plus on block is only +1 specifically, but it leaves you at the exact range to just like smash down 1. So immediately if you go into like the jab war, you're going to win the jab war. Unless it's like against Garrus, then I guess you tie. But it's very nice to have a plus on block ender to an otherwise just combo string. Now it is a high, just so you know. So the final hit is duckable and thus open to some punishment if they call it out. So don't always do it, right? But just keep it in mind, and then sometimes you do it and then immediately go for like a down 1 turn steal, that kind of stuff. And just overall, just a really good string. You got back 1-1. This is another solid hit confirm string here. Easy to tell if you get a combo, get your hit, and go right into it. And it is a 10-frame mid, so no ducking, none of that stuff. If it connects, and there you go, and it's also safe on block. The one thing about it is the range is suspect, to say the least, right? So you're only really getting it if you're like directly beside the enemy, because any other given range, you're pretty much always going to whiff. So you definitely have to be directly on top of the enemy before you go it. But that said, a lot of characters would still kill to have this 10-frame mid, right? Even with the poor range. A lot of characters just don't have good mids. So to have a 10-frame hit confirmable mid that's safe on block, hey, it's still workable. Maybe the range is a little bit of an issue, but otherwise it's still better to have it than not. And finally to talk about is 4-2. So 4-2 has some range as well. It's a bit on the slower side though, and it is a low. So if you're looking for counter poke wars, fantastic. And also, this has 4-2-3, that is a crushing blow as well. So if you get your hit, hey, there you go, right? And from there, combo time, do whatever you're gonna do, it's fine, right? So that is an option. Now, buyer beware. The move, the 4-2 itself, that is safe. You can go for it, right? It's -7, so not ideal. But once again, you can do it from fairly far away as well, so that mitigates it a little bit. But the 4-2-3, that's -16. And it's not special cancelable in any way, shape, or form. So if this gets blocked, you are done like dinner. So please use it, I guess, in its intended form in a counter poke kind of way, because you don't want to commit to that and get blocked. Now to go over the command grab again, Stabbyscotch. So it's just a solid tool all around. Once again here, yeah, it's a high command grab, so it's duckable, but man, if you block, well, doesn't matter if you're ducking or not, right? You're still going to grab. So it's just a very valuable tool in the arsenal. It's just another way to open people up. And you also got a couple tick grabs to work with. So these are moves that if you do the move and it gets blocked and immediately go for the grab, it'll still connect. So these moves are down 1, as you just saw right there, down 4, and also down 3. And the one thing to note here about down 3 is it actually tick grabs from pretty far away. Like, that's some teleporting into your arms distance right there, right? So if you know they're climbing the block here, you can actually get your command grab off from that far away when otherwise you never really would have. So that's actually a pretty decent tool in the arsenal, just something to really keep in mind if you're going to be running the command grab. Now, unfortunately, other ticks, maybe not so much. Not so much in that regard, but still, just having off your basic poke tools, it's always important to have that. It's very useful to have it, and it's just something to always keep in mind. Now, one thing to note about combo stuff here and command grab. So it's an armor breaker, right? And you get the crushing blow if it breaks armor, which is fantastic. And one thing to note here, against Mileena specifically, you can break the ball before the launch goes off, right? So I could go like this into EX, and then all of a sudden, oh, that's bad news for me. Like, I burned a bar, and then they still got out of it, right? So I'm up the creek, as it were. But if you can call that out specifically, haha, gotcha. So if you know that's exactly what they're going to go for, is delay to detect, make sure you wasted your bar, and then just, you know, they didn't take any combo damage because they got the breakaway, and just made it look like a fool. But yeah, effectively, you're just calling out their call out, right? Like, haha, I know enough about Mileena to get out of dodge. But then you say, hey, I know even more about Mileena, and you tried to break late to make me waste the bar. Now I made you look like a fool. Now, to talk about her anti-air game. Of course, Mortal Kombat being Mortal Kombat, people are gonna jump a lot, right? That's just a fact of life. And while I'm not gonna say Mileena has the best anti-air game, she actually has a pretty serviceable one. Now, when it comes to her basic uppercut, it's better than average. I'm not gonna say it's one of the greats. It's not like Collector or Jade or whatever, but it can actually do pretty decently as long as you call it out early enough. Now, your prime anti-air is stand 1, this guy right here. Now, being a stand 1 A-frame startup, so very quick, faster than an uppercut, right? And it has a very good hitbox. As you can see here, it just kind of slaps people out of the air. So as long as your timing is great, this will do a lot of work for you. And of course, combo conversions are a go as well. You can get whatever combo you want from it. The ball roll itself also is actually a very good anti-jump. If you can just catch people jumping at all, just reaction ball roll, and it will, for the most part, just always win out. So just keep that in mind if you're just the kind of person who's just really looking out for a jump. The one thing is if you're a little too on the ball, well, then you can actually go under it, as you can see here. But as long as you catch it in time, it does lower your profile, so it makes the jump just a little bit harder to hit you. And of course, hey, combo time, all that fun stuff. Down 4 as well. Very strong, depending on the jump mostly, but as long as you back up a little bit here, it does lower your hitbox to the ground, making you actually just harder to hit. And what's actually there is that boot waiting for him, right? So it goes in your favor a lot. Also, of course, combo ability, all that fun stuff. So yeah, Mileena has a very serviceable anti-air game. Once again, not the best, right? But for what it is, it works. Now to talk crushing blows here. First, I want to talk about the back 114 crushing blow. So this crushing blow, if we look at our move list here, it'll trigger on a combo of 7 or more. So say similar to Sub-Zero. But there is a little bit of a problem. So the thing is here, the move itself, the string itself rather I should say, it's awful slow. So in a lot of combos, you literally can't get it. Like right there, I just dropped the combo, right? Because the second hit's really slow, and you hit the ground. So the only real combos you can get it in are ones where you basically sacrifice all your hits to get the combo damage. And at which point, that's like only like 3% more than your basic bread and butter combo. So not really worth it. So situations where you should be using this crushing blow are as follows. Hey, so we talked about anti-airs before, right? And the anti-air is actually a perfect situation. So our damage is already gonna be kind of wonky, right? We juggled them, and then we did like more juggles, and the gravity scaling is gonna be rough. So at that point, that's a perfect example. We'll actually get much more damage with that crushing blow than any kind of combo follow-up we did. But in a normal, just bread and butter combo situation, that crushing blow honestly is not really worth it unless it's gonna be the kill. That extra 2-3% depending on the combo. So just save it for your more oddball situations where you get a conversion, like say you get an air to air. And then all of a sudden that works out just fine, right? But in the classic situation, I don't know, it's just not as valuable. But when you get those weird conversions, those weird trades, and you just get a non-standard situation, that's the perfect time to use it. Now also to talk about her forward throw crushing blow. So she has one very similar to Rambo, and that is basically if she stays on the ground for 10 seconds, so no jumping, no being knocked down, stay on the ground for 10 seconds, you'll get a crushing blow, and when you get it, you get a pretty fair chunk of damage. Oh, look at that, that's nasty, right? And 30%, fantastic. But the problem, like Rambo, and is much more exacerbated in Mileena, is any move she does that leaves the ground will basically reset the timer. So I'm talking moves like say 2-3-3. That's our one of our main combo starters. So we've earned enough time here. We should have the crushing blow. I'll just do this first real quick here, and I'll go for my forward throw. No crushing blow. And this applies to many other things where you're not actually jumping, because once again the word says jumping. You didn't actually jump, but let's say back 2. Like the animation looks like you're jumping, but you didn't actually jump, right? But as far as the crushing blow is concerned, kind of like, nah, dude, you ain't getting it. So watch out for that, like stand 4 is another example. Just moves where it looks like you're leaving the ground, it will count against you for the crushing blow, and it's very unfortunate. So let's talk about you going a little bit bananas and some of the dangers here. So you got Playtime, 1-1, 1+3, the grab. Awesome, right? And hey, you can duck and block all day and I'm still going to get you. Fantastic, right? It is duckable. So if the enemy kind of lets go of block beforehand, yeah, it'll go over their head. And they can punish you, but then you're like, haha, what am I going to do then? I'll just ball roll you or something. And that's not a guarantee, unfortunately. Well, one, it's inherently risky. So if they duck the grab, they get whatever punish, and it'll probably be down to uppercut crushing blow punish, so that'll be some big damage. And if they did block, well then you get your throw, absolutely. So if we set it here, stance hold. Okay, you got your throw. 10%. But you know, if they got you, then they're probably getting like 30 to 40%. So the risk reward on that's really lopsided. And of course, if you do ball roll and you get the combo, that's fantastic. But it's definitely a punish on block as well. So right now, I'm Devora. So, and the dummy set here, they're either going to do the grab, follow-up, or the ball, right? And the thing is, I can actually defend against both at the same time. So in this specific timing, I let go in time to not be grabbed, but I hold it long enough to block the ball. So now I have all options covered. Now here's the good part. I had to practice this, right? And it's not an easy window. It's definitely not a guarantee. And if you didn't specifically practice this, it's still a real mix-up. But just beware on that. Now, if you want a more real mix-up, we have 1-1, 1+3, the grab, and we have 1-1-2. Now, 1-1-2 and 1-1 grab, they hit within the frame of each other, right? So the whole block, unblock, that kind of stuff, while technically possible, is not really feasible in any real shape or way. But here's the problem. 1-1-2 is punishable on block. And no, you cannot special cancel it into anything. And when we talked about that risk reward thing, so it is a 50-50 yes, but the problem is the 50-50 is for the defender, not for you. You're the one being 50-50'd for attempting this, because the enemy's reward is much higher than yours. Like 1-1-2, 7%. And let me tell you, -10 point blank in their face, they're getting a lot more than 7% on you. And same deal with the grab there. If you whiff it, they get the down 2 crushing blow. So either way, you're both in the coin flip situation, but your reward is so much smaller than the defender's. You gotta question, is it worth it? And for my money, unless it's gonna be like a kill situation, it honestly isn't. Because, your reward is you get 7%, their reward is they get 26 to 40%. Same deal with the grab. Your reward is you get 10%, their reward is 30 to 40%. So it's a 50-50, yeah, but just please beware, it's a 50-50 that benefits the defender more than it benefits you. Now, kind of a direct follow-up to the previous segment here, just going nuts, right? Like, you're trying to 50-50 people, and just when they think they can defend against you, then you steal a turn back by doing random ball. And 2 strings that are applicable to that are 2-3-3-4 and back 1-1-2. So 2-3-3-4, hey, it's a plus unblock string, right? So if they take it, then you basically get a free down 1 check and there's nothing they can do to stop you about it. So eventually, as a high, they're going to want to, duck it and try to punish it, uppercut it. And of course, as witch, you can then just go directly into ball roll and punish it. So it's a very risky maneuver, but it's one you got to take. And back 1-1-2, you have this move here, the string. Instead of being back 1-1, and you're like -6, very close to them, back 1-1-2, it's negative, but it pushes them all the way out. So like it's basically a full reset, right? So this is also a high, therefore duckable, and of course, try to punish it, all that kind of stuff. And at which point, you can also just do random ball roll after. So if they try to take a turn against it, try to punish it, or just try to deal with it in any way other than just taking the block and getting pushed out, the random ball roll is your friend in that regard. So this is very much, flying by the seat of your pants, very unsafe way to play the game. But if you're that kind of person, these are options available to you. Now, one thing here to note about Mileena is she's just playing fast. So her dashes, backdash, forward dash, they cover a lot of distance for what they are. So just a quick example here. Say you down 1 and get blocked. Now, against a machine perfect response, if they were to hit a button back at you, yes, it would connect. But you can just backdash right away. And due to the just immense amount of distance it covers, a lot of times if they try to press against you, you're just already out, at which point, just, press back against them and maybe catch a button whiffing. And with the forward dash, her wave dash is fantastic. Like, she can cover a lot of distance, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So, in that regard, like, man, it's just really good. And just, even without a wave dash, still covers a lot of ground, right? That's just if you want to get fancy. Yeah, it's just a quick note, basically. But yeah, her dashes, in general, are just fantastic. And especially if you're the kind of person just looking to steal turns off everything, whatever button backdash, try to hit another button to catch them pressing against you, very strong tool for her. Now let's talk the Sai Slide here and its use in pressuring people on wake up, because it is very, very good at it. So if you're willing to sacrifice a little bit of damage at the end of a combo, you can just go right into it, and it'll hit perfectly on their wake up. Now, some characters that are a little more thin, you might have to hold for literally a split second for just travel a little bit more character to character. But yeah, it's just an option right there. Now, the real beauty of this is people who are just prone to always do something on wake up, right? Be it a roll, be it a wake up 3 or whatever, this is where you really catch them. Oh, you did wake up 3? Cool, guaranteed crushing blow on the punish, and then I can just get whatever follow-up from there depending on your range, right? In the corner, it gets a lot stronger. But that is just an example. If they did anything on wake up, you got them. Same deal, you rolled? Haha, gotcha. This counts as a punish against the roll. So if they do anything other than just wake up and block, you can then immediately EX the Sai and you'll get a crushing blow. So people who are just impatient and refuse to just sit there and block, this is a fantastic tool to use against them. You'll sacrifice a little combo damage, yeah, but the return on this is a lot bigger than the normal combo ender. And it just really, honestly, makes them feel kind of stupid, which is a big victory in and of itself. Now, to mention the Playtime variation, the one that adds the extra strings. The extra strings are all well and all good, but it actually gives one hidden little feature. So one of the extra strings here is forward 4, 3, 1 plus 3. Lets you roll over the head, do the thing, right? But what it adds to that string is this. Well, you know, you look at it, and then what's so different about that? It doesn't look like anything. But if I were to switch my variation all of a sudden, and by the way, I love the PS5 load times. Oh my god, so much faster. But all of a sudden now without it, oh, it's a knockdown. Because here's the thing. Your combo ability with this string is over as soon as you get that hit. Nothing possible. But back with it, and we have that variation, all of a sudden, combos are okay. So it actually adds more than just that base move. It gives us extra combo ability that we never had before. And we're going to talk a lot more about it in a later section here. But this is actually important because if you have this variation, then all of a sudden this becomes one of your most key strings. Without the variation, not that important, honestly. But with it, kind of a big deal. So we're going to have 2 sections for jailing here. This will be jailing basic. The next part will be jailing advanced. So for jailing basic, let's just take the classic scenario of the ducking foe and just ducking under everything or just all around being annoying. So down 1, going to be your workhorse poke here to deal with this. Down 1, being plus 13 on hit, means very easily jails into stand 1-1. And from stand 1-1, well then, you know, easy hit confirms. If you want to go into the 1 plus 3 mix up here with a grab, you can. Also, while not technically needed, because it is a mid, it does jail into back 1-1 as well, which is fantastic for hit confirms just because it does so much damage and leads to decent damage combos. Down 4 is plus 19 on hit, does have some fair amount of pushback, but you can jail into a dash forward 1. So once again, this is a high, but since you're forced to stand for this animation, that of course is the jail in a nutshell, and you can just kind of work it from there. Down 1, considering the range you want to use it at, yeah, it's plus 13 on hit, but, you know, back 1's not hitting from that far away, stand 1's not hitting from that far away, so the main use is the fact it doesn't really jail, honestly, but just for the sake of just showing it off, like something like forward 4, it gets a lot easier. It has 18 frames of startup, so it's on the slower side for a move, but if you're already 13 frames ahead of them, even if they jump or try to mash, you're more than likely going to be winning out. Now, here's the next part of jailing, and this is not jailing on a crouching foe so much as jailing with your size to keep yourself safe on block. So here's the thing. Mileena, a lot of her numbers are not great. A lot of things are punishable on block, like, you know, forward 2, 3, that's punishable on block, negative 16. Forward 1 is great advancing, but it's high, so, you know, it's very duckable. And people are just smashing anyways, that means you'll just never get it off. And you might need a random uppercut crushing blow for your troubles. So forward 4-3 all of a sudden becomes much more valuable because it's just a mid. And it's an advancing mid, so you can work with it, and it has an overhead follow-up, so that has to be stand blocked. But the problem here is negative 11, so once again punishable. And if you do the follow-up with Playtime, negative 8, so also punishable. But here's the thing. If you go into your Sai Blast, negative 14 at this distance, against a lot of the cast, not everyone, but a lot of the cast, that is safe on block. And if you were to so enhance it, then negative 9 from this far away, whatever. That's just to reset the neutral at this point. That negative 9 doesn't matter from this far away. So we take a ranged option and we give it a lot of safety. And of course, if we get a hit confirm, The move does a lot of base damage. We go into ball roll, get our combo. That's all well and good. But this is only possible thanks to the high Sai attack. Due to the fact the enemy has to stand block the overhead, they can't crouch in time to not take both hits of the high. When an enemy is ducking and blocking, sometimes second hit goes over their head, right? This is really dependent character to character. Some people like Devore, the second hit will always miss. Some people like say Sub-Zero, it'll miss sometimes. And we just need that for pushback and for safety. This is one of the reasons why I appreciate the high Sai versus the low Sai. The low Sai is more of a counter zoning tool than a proper zoning tool. Like you're meant to do it when, you know, just in reaction to other people's stuff, versus the high Sai being much faster. You can just kind of toss it out very low risk. And it's all about safety for Mileena. Mileena's numbers, unfortunately, are not great on a lot of things. So high Sai into EX makes everything safe. That's the long story short. If you're willing to burn a bar, everything is safe. For low Sai, not so much. Point blank, you're dead. For some characters, point blank, high Sai, if you can block both hits, you're still safe. And even then, EX, that's still punishable by a couple characters, right? Negative 13 from this far away. Some characters are still going to get you if you do it point blank. So it's not so much about the worth of the projectile as a projectile. Like, once again, this is faster, right? But, you know, it can't counter zone, doesn't go under highs. But it's the fact that it plugs a lot of gaps in our game plan. It just makes everything safe. And unfortunately for Mileena, due to the fact that a lot of her numbers are bad, like 4-2-3, you're dead if it gets blocked, right? But if you want some damage and safety, like, you know, if you get the hit, you want some reward, then 4-2 into EXI keeps you completely safe on block. And if you get the hit, well then, hey, fantastic, you get the hit. It's not like a lot of damage, but certainly better than nothing at 17%, right? So in this, it's the defensive properties. The fact that EXI keeps you safe on so much of your, frankly, unsafe moves is why I prefer this in, you know, quote-unquote jailing situations, because you're going to do your string and jail into the Sai. Once again, forward 4-3 is the perfect example, because you cannot duck in time to avoid it. And this is like almost 5% chip as well, by the way. It's a significant amount of damage on block, and just gives you a lot more safety to work with overall. So if you want to pick low Sai, by no means, don't let me dissuade you, right? But when you just look at a lot of her strings critically, basically high Sai lets you get away with murder in a way low Sai never will, because it'll cover a lot of your mistakes and just keep everything safe for you. So now, with all that said, which variation is the best? You know, we have 9 choices to pick from as far as custom moves go. We only get to pick 3. Now, of course, everything's subject to debate, but I'll give you one I think is just, I guess, not up for a debate. And that is the command grab. The command grab is always worth picking. No matter what you want to do, this always is worthwhile to have. One, at bare minimum, hey, it's a command grab, right? So versus a regular throw, no text allowed, none of that kind of stuff. It gives you 14% if you want to enhance it. That's great. And also, it's your only real armor breaker, and has an amazingly strong crushing blow if you manage to get it on armor break or against a wake up roll. So when it just comes to just general utility, having a command grab hard to beat, especially considering hers is pretty decent all around. So I won't begrudge you if you do not pick it, but as far as I'm concerned, if anything's an auto include, the command grab is it. For moves to stay away from, Kahnum Dash, it is just not worth it. Like, the animation looks cool, I'll give it that, you know, catching you by your legs and all that. But it replaces your ball roll, for one, so you just lost all your combo ability, outside of, like, you know, anti-airs and all kinds of stuff. Your base combo starter is gone in favor of this. And this move is not as good. Like, it is not worth giving up your combos. Roll is a better move in neutral to begin with as well. This move takes 24 frames to start up. Like, I know at the very beginning it says 12 frames, but that's a lie. That's like the start of the run, if you were to choose to do the run. So it can't punish anything. Anything you can go under to punish from full screen, you could have just teleport kicked anyways for more damage. So Kahnum Dash is definitely the one I would say, of all of them, avoid the most. For my money, Playtime just very good. Gives you a proper 4-3-4 to work with for combos. Gives you the extra strings, and the extra strings are useful, even though there are some flaws. And also the Sai Slide. Sai Slide, we've already went over a lot of the case uses, but one of the things is we just had that whole section about high Sai versus low Sai for safety, right? Sai Slide lets you kind of gimmick away some of that without needing to burn a bar, because it moves you away and it leaves you -8 on hit. Now, the only thing is, if you get a little too predictable with this, like, the people can see you go backwards and they can literally just jump on you in full combo. But every now and then, when you don't want to burn the bar, this is an option to keep yourself very safe. And of course, if they get a little overzealous and try to charge in on you, then you drop the EX on their head and laugh the day away. So if I had to pick a 3 for myself, it would be this. Extra strings, Sai Slide, and the command grab. For my money, those are the 3 most valuable variation moves. But of course, hey, you do you. If you say to me, air Sai, low Sai is the way to go for it, absolutely. Do what you think works for you. But just overall, pound for pound, you just can't argue the command grab. It's too valuable. And Sai Slide and Playtime just round out her moveset and kind of, to me, make the best Mileena can be. Now, just to talk a general game plan, one of the things about Mileena that works out great, regardless of which version of whatever Sai you have, right? Either one's a strong tool from full screen, and it'll frustrate people, and people, if you have the high Sai, they can enhance it and make it low, all that kind of stuff. And of course, people, when you get into that fireball war full screen, people are inclined to, just throw fireballs back, and at which point, hey, you literally got the perfect counter answer. Now, the startup's a little slow. It could stand to be a little faster, I guess, but against most projectiles from full screen, very reactable, and then you just bop them on the head with a teleport kick, and that's literally just playing Mortal Kombat 2. But fundamentals are fundamentals, and regardless of what the name of the game is right now, the basics of Mortal Kombat 2 still apply here. Throw fireball, when they throw fireball back, kick them in the head, still works just great. Besides that, the big thing is Mileena does just fine at a range, considering her options, and she does just fine up close. But the problem is, this middle range here, some characters excel in this range, Mileena does not. We've gone over it in the video, but everything she has a price to pay. Forward 1 is 9 frames, advancing, fantastic, amazing, but it's a high, therefore duckable. There's a bit of a problem. Also, definitely don't go for the full string or you're gonna get beat up. Forward 2, fantastic, got some range, a little slow, but it's a low, that's great. But the problem here with forward 2 is the follow-up is also death on block. So you can only basically do forward 2 and then go into a special, because you can't rely on it unless you know you got it. And then, hey, it's crushing blow, great. But if you let it rock, man, you're going to get beat up. Forward 4, double hitting mid, great. Advancing, also great, but slow. And from a lot of ranges, you only get the second hit, right? And that can be problematic. To guarantee you got to get both hits in, you got to be a little bit closer, and at which point people have much faster moves than this. And as we went over, it has just a lot of utility in terms of combo ability and making yourself safe. That's great. But again, we got some issues. So she's great up close. She's got the options up close. She's got the options far away. But in this middle range, which is so important in all of fighting games, she struggles. So what to do at this range? Well, basically, a judicious use of down 3. She was given this normal for a reason, so you might as well use it. This is the longest reaching down 3 in the game. And from there, when you're plus 13 on hit, then you can start working a little bit of offense forward. And of course, you can just bypass this range entirely by doing back 2 and just leaping your way in. Now, it's negative, yes, but honestly, at a good spacing, at a good range, -5, for a lot of characters at this range, this pushback, if you perfectly space it, it can actually be difficult to poke back from. I can't hit from this far away, right? So if you space it out great, you get rid of this trouble area that a lot of characters will honestly kind of easily beat Mileena in, and just bypass it. Just don't play that game. Don't play a game that's not your strength. So either just bypass it, or use the one tool you actually got. Yeah, it's a very low damage tool, to be sure, because once again, every down 3 is only 1%. Therefore, it would take 100 of these to kill you. It builds up over time, though. But use this to at least poke in, make the enemy think about their plan, at which point then you can either get in or work your way back out and start tossing sides again. Besides that, if you want to be a jumpy boy, her jump 1 actually is very good. Has a very aggressive angle. And you can just kind of go and just confirm your strings from there. And if you get it, fantastic. Go for your combo, whatever. But yeah, it's just actually very good air to ground. And air to air, jump 2 is amazing. And also, let alone air to air, because yeah, I don't need to really explain to you. Just look at the hitbox. Really good. But it actually hits from very far away air to ground. Like, where jump 1 would easily miss, that totally connects. So, thanks to that range, you can actually jump in from much further away than the average character could ever dream of. Like some people like Cabal, sure, but the average character cannot hit someone standing from that far away. And of course, that said, then you can go into whatever string of choice. And you know what, just to complete the triangle here, her jump kick's pretty good too. Like, it's not bad. She just has great jumping normals all around. So, if you want to be kind of spastic and jump, Mileena will help you out in that regard. But besides that, honestly, Mileena's a fairly basic game plan. As we went over, you know, the far stuff, the close stuff, and all the stuff we went over in the interim and the whole video. So just go at your own pace. Just keep in mind, once again, just to really hammer it home, her strengths are far away and up close, but this mid-range, you want to get out of here fast as possible. Unless you're up against another character that sucks at mid, then it's fine, it works out for you. But this is definitely the range you suffer in the most against most characters. So in closing, and maybe just a little bit of a final verdict because she's a brand new character, Mileena, she's got some issues and she struggles a little bit. Like, not bad, but there's a lot of flaws. Now, if you're watching this video like 6 months after I made it, maybe everything's changed, right? There's a patch and she's the best character in the game. But as it stands, of the 3 DLC characters that launched, of her, Rambo, and Rain, I find she's the weakest of the 3, and the big deal is simply, as we covered in the video, there's just a lot of frame data issues, and a lot of points where they want you to be able to 50-50. The risk-reward factor is completely out of balance, and most of the time the defender will get such a bigger reward than you, the person on offense, will, therefore really limiting you wanting to do any kind of 50-50 mix-up, right? But all that said, she's still Mileena. She looks like $1,000,000. She animates great. She definitely got the personality captured 10 out of 10, right? And she's still fun, just she could be better. Is she RoboCop? No, she's definitely a lot better than RoboCop. Don't worry about that. But she's definitely not on the stronger end of things, at least for the time being. And of course, with patches coming in the future, a lot of things can change on that front. But overall, she's still worth your time, because she's just fun, and honestly, fun matters more than tears in the end. But with all that said, that is my tips and tricks guide for Mileena. Lot to go over. I hope this helps you out. And now we're at the end of the video. So hey, thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well. Go out and play some Mortal Kombat.